Have you ever wondered what God's will is for you? Have you ever laid awake at night not knowing what tomorrow holds or how your life got this far out of control? Right now, more than ever, maybe you and the world around us is worrying about tomorrow. We don't know what's happening right now. We don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow. God, where are you in all of this? How can I follow you when I don't know where you're leading? Well, here's the thing. You don't have to know where God's leading in order to follow Him. All it takes to follow God's plan is to follow God. I want you to think about what it takes to follow somebody. I think of my little 4-year-old son who follows me around right on my heels. The other day I asked him, why do you keep following me so closely? I mean, literally right upon me. And he looked up at me and he said, because I love you, Daddy. I want to be with you. It's the same way with our relationship with God. So often our faith and our hope is wrapped up in a plan and knowing I'm going to do this step and this step and this step. But that's not how reality works, and that's not how God works. Whenever we see the whole testimony of Scripture, most of the time where He is leading, He doesn't tell His followers where they're going. Why would we think it would be any different for us? Think about Joshua in the Old Testament. He was going into the promised land, finally bringing God's people into the land that God was delivering to him. 3 times to Joshua, he said, be strong and courageous, be strong and courageous, be strong and courageous. But at no point did God tell Joshua what his plan was. See, Joshua was strong and courageous because God said, I will be with you wherever it is you go. But He didn't tell him where he was going. The first battle that Joshua would face, according to God's battle plan, seems like it should be a losing battle. It was against Jericho, and God's plan to take the city was to march around it with the musicians out front, shout really loud, then the walls would tumble and they would take the city. See, God's plans often don't make sense to us. The Bible tells us God works all things for the good of those who love Him, for those who love Him. See, Joshua followed God, so it didn't matter where he was going. He knew God was with him, and Joshua would be where God is, and it's the same for you and me. Think about Jesus' followers. He called some fishermen, and He said, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men. He said, follow me, and you know what? The disciples were with Him wherever He went. And because they were with Him, they were directly in His will. You don't have to know God's plans in order to follow God. Follow God, and you will follow His plan. Don't worry about what tomorrow holds, because you know who holds tomorrow. You don't have to know how all this pandemic is going to play out. We don't have to know, but God knows. God's with us amidst it. You can trust Him, but you'll trust Him more if you know Him. So get to know Him. Open His Word. Talk to Him. We have an audience with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You don't have to know God's plans in order to follow God's plans, but you have to know God.